Hello everybody, back to the Frameless Forum. We now move from Brazil to almost the Rocky Mountains, and I'm very thrilled and happy to introduce you to Amber Shafer and David Vaeth. They are from the Wowza Streaming company. Amber and David, can you hear me?
Sounds good, Mickey. How are you?
I'm good.
I can hear you even well.
Thank you. Now we have to really applaud you. This is a tough moment because it's around 5:30 a.m. in the Rocky Mountains near Denver, where the Wowza company is situated. And we've teamed up with Wowza because we're looking for a reliable professional streaming service, because otherwise a streaming festival cannot do what it promises to do. So I understand, Amber, you can tell us a little bit of the background of where Wowza is coming from, what's doing now, where it's going. What's Wowza? You tell us.
Thank you so much for the introductions. So Wowza is the world-leading live streaming platform, and we've been at this for a long time. So we started back in 2005, so we have a lot of experience with streaming in a lot of different contexts. So that's been really helpful, as you know, with FullDome, because we were able, with 360 streaming in particular, the hard part is the sheer volume size. And so having worked with over 35,000 different organizations across live media, sports, events, it's really given us the opportunity to stress test all of our systems, and also to be able to have the expertise to help and advise on both sort of the equipment side of things as well as on the playback side.
Okay, that's good. And I love the idea of courageous stress tests. I think all systems really are challenged to withstand the onslaught of data, and yes, 360 is a particular heavy case. Now, I understand, and I thank you for mentioning you've been in business since 2005. Now, for me, this is very young. For the FullDome Festival, we only started 2 days later, so you are kind of 2 years older as a company than we are as a festival. But now streaming becomes so important, and you are in the eye of the hurricane about where streaming, there's this big demand. Can you tell us a bit what changes now that Corona forces so many people to stream? What changes, what are the challenges and beauties of being a streaming company in this particular moment in time?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we've actually seen a huge increase in our customers who are streaming for both education and religious organizations. As you can imagine, these are organizations that typically have large groups of people together on a regular basis. And so they've been really challenged in terms of how to maintain that connection in a world where we can't actually be physically together. We've also seen a slight uptick in gaming, which has been kind of interesting. I was looking at that out of curiosity, and it seems like there are a lot of people who are getting into online trivia as a way of entertaining themselves while they're in lockdown and trying to stay connected. And then, interestingly, we've seen a new segment emerge for us, which is around fitness. So that's mostly gyms and fitness instructors who are working really hard to try to keep their clients fit and in shape and on track with their fitness goals at a time where they can't actually go to the gym and work out. And then in some conversations that I actually had yesterday, we've also seen a lot more leads coming in recently around production houses who are exploring the possibility of using streaming as a way of supplanting or replacing that natural collaboration that happens behind the scenes when you're actually producing a film and trying to create it while maintaining that safe distance in a pandemic.
Yeah, and I'll add just a little to that, Mickey. They, as you know, right all through the world, all the different trade shows were canceled this year. So Las Vegas was shut down, you know, all the trade shows in Amsterdam and Barcelona. So now they're coming back this fall with virtual trade shows, trying to get that message out to the consumers and clients, you know, through streaming. So.
Okay, well, that's interesting, and I think we all have to learn to adapt as fast as possible. And streaming definitely is one of the key factors that makes it possible to society, for companies to reorganize and adapt. So now David and our production team have been in constant communication to figure out, well, how do we get the streaming situation that you offer in sync with the needs that a 360-degree FullDome Festival has. Now, may I ask you straight away, have you ever, before we contacted you and we got together, have you ever been exposed to the notion of 360 streaming?
Yeah, good question. It seems like 360 had hit a few years ago, was very popular for a little while, and then kind of went away. And now that this has all come about, it's come back full circle. So you're the first ones that have really embraced it as far as Wowza is concerned and needed help quickly. But you're seeing a lot of like concert venues and like we mentioned sporting, since sporting has been shut down, things like that. But I think from based on what you guys have done and what we're seeing in the industry, it's gonna come back very strong this time around and probably be a foothold, if you will, in the streaming industry.
Well, thanks for giving this encouragement. Obviously, we are a self-learning organization. Each year we have to learn something that we didn't have to concern ourselves with the previous years, and now it's really the commitment to say, well, as long as the planetariums are closed, as are swimming pools and opera houses and movie theaters, we still have the community of 360 aficionados, of FullDome people, and so that is why we decided we take the risk of focusing at this time on the 360 Streaming Festival. Now, can you tell a little bit of the background, what it means to get the data in the right format so that we can play it out and so our customers can see it? Now, there's a lot of data crunching behind, and I think you are the guy, we always call you, oh, this is David, the engineer. Whenever we run into a problem, we kind of better consult him.
Well, absolutely, and it all comes back to how we're going to get your data, in your case, video data, VOD assets from point A to point B to point C, where your consumer can actually ingest it. And in your case, we installed what we call our Wowza Streaming engine, which is our main product, our media server, locally there in your TV station. Your VOD assets live there. We stream them up to our Wowza Streaming cloud infrastructure through a protocol called SRT, which allows you to get from one point to another very cleanly and do retransmissions if needed, based on that first mile of internet, as we call it. And then once it got to the cloud, we transcoded it to multiple renditions. So you could have your very highest stream all the way to a lower stream based on the client's viewing network, if you will. If it was a great internet or a great connection, they would get the very highest. Your players would adapt to that, if you will. But once it got into our Wowza Streaming Cloud, we sent it out to our Wowza CDN edges. So if you were in Germany watching it, or if you were here in the Rocky Mountains, you would go to your closest point and get that delivery to make it a little bit easier for you to ingest, if you will.
Well, thank you for giving these explanations, because I mean, obviously there are a lot of tech nerds out there who kind of wonder, is it my internet? Is it my iPhone? Why is there a stutter in the image? Why is it pixeled? No, and it's really important to really confirm to everybody. We are streaming, you are streaming on 4K, and the smart system has to kind of figure out what can the local device that people have chunk down, what can it digest, so that the signal comes down to a kind of a streaming experience that still makes sense, although there's all this data I mean, there are Rocky Mountains full of data in the sky right now, coming from your end to ours. Thank you very much for helping us getting as the best possible stream down to earth, up into sky and into people's devices.
That's great. Thank you for having us, and thank you for partnering with us, Mickey. We look forward to working with you in the future.
Good. So thank you, Amber. Thank you, David, for getting up so extremely early. But I think a Rocky Mountain sunshine and maybe a good strong coffee will get you through the rest of the weekend. We still have a lot of streaming business to do. We still have another Frameless Forum talk. And maybe you want to join the party tonight. At the very end of the streaming FullDome films, we have this magnificent Brazilian United VJ team who will make us all get up and dance. And this will be, like Amber mentioned, kind of very good for our own health, not just sit and nerdishly consume data, but also sort of get up and dance later tonight. So, all right. Amber, David, thanks. Good night, good morning, goodbye, and see you soon.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Good.